Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Mavs. Well, I guess it's no longer Mavs Moneyball. It's Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. My name is Kirk Henderson. I'm editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. If you didn't know that, well, you know that now. Here's the deal. I have about 30 minutes. The other night I went for 2 hours because I wanted to talk to folks for a long time because that was a sad game. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fly through some people and as many people as possible. I already got a halfway filled waiting room of folks who have thoughts that want to give. So if you remember, if you're in the YouTube comments, go ahead and click on the link that will bring you to the waiting room where you can wait and hang out. And then you can join in here and talk with me for a few minutes and we will see what people's thoughts are. If you're listening on the recap show or if you're listening on the pod feed a little later, it's about 6:30. The Mavericks obviously fell to the Spurs in a game that, I don't know, really weird. The Mavericks basically got destroyed from the get-go, but that just kind of shows you the depth, the talent that we were working with on the back end of our bench this season. Coming up first, I see Joseph in the waiting room. Joseph, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hey, Kirk, second time here. Good to see you.
Welcome back.
Hi. Man, I just remember after trading Kyrie, we got wins over the Clippers and Kings without Luka. I just remember it felt like euphoria. And a team like we were starting to get accustomed to just like, hey, we're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. And then just that's what to today. And we have nothing to look forward to. And then all the rumors of like, oh, hey, if we don't improve anything, Luka's going to ask out in 2024. And obviously, like, oh, the league's investigating us. But yeah, I read something online. Like, there was this fan saying, like, obviously, like, hey, Luka's not Dirk. He's not going to stay, obviously, for like any dysfunction. And I will say that, yeah, the front office didn't do Luka any favors, but obviously, Luka isn't totally blameless in the situation. So I don't know. I obviously don't want to shit on Luka. If he could be a Mav for life, I would.
Sure.
I would love that to happen, like just like Dirk. But this one guy that responded to that claim of Luka not being Dirk, he clapped back and basically said, you're right, he isn't Dirk. Because Dirk willed us to 50 wins for like a decade. He always came to camp in excellent shape, added new tricks to his arsenal, and then he never complained and tried his best to not be a liability on the defensive end. Obviously, Luka, I don't think he's just going to give up. I believe he truly strives to become the best player he could possibly be. But, there's definitely some stuff that you got to change.
Sure.
Like, one thing I will say, though, is like, if you want to be an all-time great, you got to be prepared for short off seasons because all-time greats, they'll will their teams to deep playoff runs every year. And if you will your team to like a deep playoff run, you're not going to have the desired off season. So it's really all my thoughts, and obviously I'm not trying to shit on Luka. Like I said, I want him to be a Mav till the day he retires. But obviously I just, we definitely starts from the front office, but also, a lot of teams take the personality of their leader. So.
Well, I think that's, and I think there's a fair number of things that are fair in that, regard. Dirk was not ever really the leader of the team until 2005, 2006. So he had 5 or 6 years, and Luka's kind of been thrust into it. And I don't necessarily think it's natural for him. I think he'll get there because I don't think he has any other choice. I think the thoughts about him showing up into camp in shape regularly, I think he did that this year. But, with how he plays basketball, the Mavericks have to support him a little bit better. I also find myself very frustrated by the NBA, not just the Mavericks, not just Luka, but, the Mavericks sat Luka on all those back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Luka could have played, and the Mavericks wouldn't have been in this position if he would have played more.
And it's not like he's – oh, sorry.
No, it's not like he's an old man. I think there's elements to his game where you have to be careful, but Luka's going to get hurt driving the paint. He's not going to get hurt from overuse. So it's just kind of an odd thing to me where you'd rest him for games where it's like, well, he could turn an ankle or get a dead leg at any point. It's not going to be something that you prevent from rest. Yeah. So that I don't know. I hate resting. So
anyways, that's all I just wanted to say.
Sure.
Having me on, man.
Oh, of course. We're really glad you sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's the stuff with Luka is always going to be dicey because Dirk was a top 5 player in the NBA. If we're being honest with ourselves, guys, maybe 3 years total out of his 20-year career. The 2011 offseason, he became the best player in the league for a 20-game stretch, but I don't think he was the best. There's a lot you could talk about. So the comparisons are different, but Luka still has a lot. He's so good, and he still has a lot that he can get better on. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so coming up next is Chris. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Hey, Kirk, how's it going?
It's a mid-afternoon game, not bad. The sun's still out and be able to get my kid to bed and hang out with my wife a little bit instead of.
We got to think about Theo Pinson though. He had a triple-double tonight.
The developmental potential came through. Game 82.
I was going to say, good riddance to bad rubbish, man. I don't ever want to see him on our team again. Yeah, just glad this season's over with. But if you think about it, this draft, right? We ended up odds most likely we will keep our top 10 pick. This would be the year to do it. Right?
We have still an 80% chance of keeping the pick.
Yeah, and we've never moved up. I have a pretty good feeling we're going to get in the top 4. I'm being very optimistic, but if this was going to happen, if this worst case scenario of the season was going to happen, this would be the year to do it, right? I mean, I don't know about next year or the year after that, what the draft looks like, but people are saying that the draft looks good coming up. So
my position on that is that they did what they did because the chances of being in the lottery were higher than if they hadn't. And I really think that they know this is the last ditch effort to sort of how to keep Luka. I've got a couple of different staffers at Mavs Moneyball that have very different positions on this, where if the Mavericks would have played out the string, showed some level of competitiveness, they go into the offseason saying, okay, you know what? We just got to get some guys. We got to figure some things out. And instead, Luka and everybody kind of leaves the bad taste in their mouth. Then they have a couple, they get out from under the Knicks obligation, which is a top 10 pick. And then they could move on and figure out what to do with the next 2 picks that they can trade. If they hold on to this pick, they still owe the Knicks the 2024 pick.
Like the next 2 years, and then after that, be 2 second-round picks, right?
That's right. And it really limits optionality. And so my thought is just like, I really think this is the draft to try to go get an asset. Nathan says in the chat, next year's draft is supposed to be very bad. I feel like we say that about a lot of drafts. It's not as good as this draft.
Yeah. And really, if we're getting that 10th pick, we're not keeping it. We're going to trade it and probably get a couple assets, some vets that could win now. I don't know who it would be. I don't know which team it's going to be, but I mean, I think we got Tim Hardaway Jr.'s stock up a little bit, or he did, shooting the ball well towards the end of the season. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back. I mean, I'm looking at my phone here. We have a lot of unrestricted free agents. I mean,
the team's going to be very different, as Jason Kidd said.
They would re-sign him just because he's a good fit. I mean, I'm fine with him being on the team as a third string. That's fine. Third string center. But they had to learn their lesson this year. You can't be starting Dwight Powell the entire year and thinking that you're going to be winning games, because we just learned this lesson now that you can't do it.
Yep.
Frank Ntilikina, Theo Pinson, I'm just looking at it, just a laundry, big list of players that I just don't want to see on the team besides Kyrie Irving. So, and even the Kyrie Irving thing, worst case scenario, if you don't re-sign, we're probably going to do a sign and trade anyway, right?
Yep.
For a team that doesn't have cap space, that'd be a
well, you hope. That's the hope. I mean, there's so much stuff. Jose in the chat points out something important. Skin says we're trading the pick for vets because we're in win now mode. This is so dicey because like we are in win now mode, but I would make the argument that why we're behind the 8 ball is because we never draft guys. I just
my 2 theories is I think the most likely scenario is we're signing Kyrie.
Yes,
but then I hope he doesn't go in full psycho mode and just like do weird things.
The Kyrie experience tends to run its course, but it's more a matter of when. And I think a guy who's getting paid a lot of money to play basketball and hopefully is an environment he likes will continue to play basketball in an environment that he likes. He seemed happy here. So,
or another good scenario, like I said, a team that he wants to go to might not have cap space, so they most likely, I would assume, have to do a sign and trade, and maybe we'll get 2 or 3 assets, maybe even some picks. I guess. What would you prefer? What would you rather, just keep Kyrie, or would you rather do a sign and trade? Get like 2 or 3.
No idea, because I don't know how you value Kyrie. Just because he's a smaller, older guard, and those tend to age like bananas left on the countertop.
Yeah, what if he gets injured, having ankle problems?
And he has lots of odd injury history, but when he plays, it's like, oh my.
Yeah, I just hope they don't mess it up this summer. But really, thank you for having all these Mavs Moneyball Pod Maverick now. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to the summer, just reading all the articles, and hopefully there's some more what they call Mavs party or something, whatever you would call it for the summer. Looking forward to it if you have some more live streams.
I will. Don't worry. We'll be doing plenty. Thanks for hanging out.
Awesome. Have a good day.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. One of the things I love about Indeed is it makes hiring all in one place so easy and streamlined so I can spend more time on the rest of my business. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Okay, so next, just because I talked with him earlier, he was kind enough to bring me on his own live show. We have Marco, who is in Slovenia and is awake.
Oh,
so
I'm already here.
Yeah, I'm bringing you up now, my man, because you let me talk on your show earlier, and I wanted to chat with you now. What's up?
Yeah.
So, what are we thinking tonight? What are your sort of thoughts on everything? We want to hear it.
I just wanted to say something about Luka because
Sure.
Obviously I'm more of a Luka fan than a Dallas.
Sure.
But anyway, I root for Dallas too, of course. I think what happened this season with Dallas is the best thing that could happen for Luka.
Wow. Okay, let's hear it.
So Luka was the best player on every team he was on, maybe except Real Madrid, when he was 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
So all he did was win. And every team he's been on, he was never a leader. He never dealt with adversity. And also when he was in Dallas for the first few years, Brunson helped him keep his emotions in check. JJ Barea was there for I don't know, first 2 years. And this year, he was a bit exposed because he is maybe too emotional. And now he has a few months to think about what can he do better, not with his play because he's very good, but
Right.
about his maturity.
Mm.
So a little bit of adversity, I think, goes a long way toward his maturation, and I think he will come back even better. So more steady, more upbeat also after the losses and so on. So that's my 2 cents.
This is outstanding. We've been so grumpy in here for like a week and a half that this is the first kind of, okay, this is why this might work out better in the long term for Luka, for everybody involved, because it's so difficult to issue a level, like a fair criticism, Luka, because he carries so much.
Yeah.
But if there's a way for, not only is the rest good for his body because he's been playing basketball basically since the start of the 2021 season, it's also good for his head. And he's 24 years old. I remember how stupid I was at 24. And I can't possibly imagine some of the pressure that he faces in things that aren't basketball. So getting himself in a place to where basketball's the thing that's fun is probably the most important thing for him long term, because he's got another, what is it, World Cup this summer?
Yeah.
So World Cup in August, and then Olympics next
end
year.
of August. Yeah.
And so it's this will be the last break he gets. This is good. I like this. I need some positivity. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. You have a good one. Talk soon. All right. Okay. Coming up next, then we got Oliver, and I have about 15 minutes max. So we're going to fly through people. How we doing?
Hey, Kirk. How's it going?
I'm not doing this at 2 a.m, so I'm okay right now.
It's 1 a.m. here, so it's not too bad. I'll fly through it quickly. Do you think this is finally the summer that they Mavs add Dragic for that leadership role?
No,
do you think
I think Dragic goes to the Miami Heat in a front office role, and we have a whole new thing to think about.
Because the comment of the guy from Slovenia, Mark, I think I do agree. I think that this could be good for Luka.
Sure.
I just think having someone like Dragic to mentor him again into this new role would have been a good idea. But I also know that Dragic isn't.
Well, the Mavericks have to figure out a way to talk to Luka in a way that he hears. I feel from what I have talked to different people who are way better sourced than me, to a degree, I feel like they've walked on eggshells around him in a way that isn't needed. He's hyper competitive. You push him. You don't work, like arguments and stuff happen. Like we saw some weird shit today around the NBA. And sometimes guys are going to argue. Teammate. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And sometimes guys are going to fight, argue. Who cares? Coaches, teams too. Like you want to, like, if you let discord bubble, it only makes everything worse eventually when it does come to light. Like, and that's okay if you have disputes. And it seemed like, at least during games in particular, no one was able to grab Luka and be like, hey, snap out of it. And that I think is a needed element on next year's team.
Yeah, which is why we all have been saying get Dragic the last 3 years.
But even Marco, I think, could maybe attest to this. During the run, what was it? That wasn't World Cup. It was Eurobasket. He was still doing some of this stuff and people couldn't get through to him then. Like it was, and that was with these people that he's played with for a long time. So it's difficult. It's real difficult. And I think that, not to frame it in like overly dramatic terms, but it's like Joseph Campbell's hero's journey type stuff where you have to go through some struggle. And I really like that thought from Marco, because if Luka is as smart and competitive as we think he is, he internalizes it at some point and says, okay, I'm going to do better.
He probably needs some like self-reflection on that and look back and think that, no, this is the turning point. And then lastly, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that, the NBA is going to take away our pick for this thing. That's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not happening.
The NBA wants Dallas and Luka to do well.
I mean, Luka's like last 9 technical fouls got rescinded. I'm not,
exactly. They want him to succeed. There's more chance that, and I'm willing this into existence, we get a top 4 pick. We got to finally move up. We finally.
Let's embrace the gambler's fallacy.
Let's do it. Move up, and then you know what? Trade that pick to Orlando.
Yeah.
And you get Wendell Carter Jr. He is the ideal center next to Luka. Can protect the rim, can step out on the perimeter, and he can hit the odd 3.
I like the Wendell Carter take just because his as a man with glasses, I appreciate how freaking cool he looks.
Yeah. So I think they've got future picks to trade as well. They're gonna have 2 lottery picks. So they can say, you can say, right, we'll trade back to say the 12th pick where Chicago is. You have this one. Give us a future first or whatever. Take THJ, because THJ's stock's quite high right now. So I imagine you could talk them into like a THJ for and Bertans for Carter and Gary Harris. That's like ideal replacements and picks.
Love the take, man. This is good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Cheers, Kirk. Bye.
Cheers. All right. Now we have somebody with a really cool name, Hyperion. Outstanding science fiction novel. What's going on?
Oh, hi, Kirk. Greetings from Hungary.
Hungary, outstanding.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining the show. What are your thoughts tonight?
Long time listener. Love the stuff you guys are doing in Mavs Moneyball, and congratulations to this new channel. I love it.
I really appreciate that.
Try to connect with you for the first time. For me, this was a massive disappointment of the season. Sadly, I predicted it in another Facebook groups that are Luka fans. I love Luka. I love Maverick. I love the Mavericks. I loved Dirk Nowitzki. I speak German also. Because of that, I always loved German athletes and Nowitzki, and because of that, I also fell in love with the Mavericks.
He was with us for so long, where all of us are part German. So welcome. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I don't understand Mike Cuban because he saw that LeBron James left Cleveland for the first time. He saw leave Kevin Durant, the OKC Thunder. And he had to know, after seeing Luka in his second year, that he needs the best people available to do front office stuff.
Yep.
Or coaching stuff. Then he hires somebody who seems to be capable in Nico Harrison, but he was a novice in general manager stuff. And he hires Coach Kidd, who was a fantastic player, but in his former 2 head coaching jobs, he couldn't had success every year. Only his first year was strong. His second years were always slightly worse and worse. Yep. So I don't understand why you hire a coach that isn't proven winner, why you hire a novice general manager when you know you have a young superstar on your hands. And now you are in this predicament that you trade for a player in Wood that you couldn't really use, or your coach didn't want him to succeed, I don't know, but Wood didn't play a role that he should have been playing, or he couldn't because the roster was constructed that Wood was a fantastic offensive player, but the Mavericks had many good offensive players, but very bad defensive player. Bullock was a good defensive player, but also, as you pointed out many times, Dorian Finney-Smith and Bullock were worse in defending this season than last season. And when you have only one-way players and your roster is constructed like that, then how do you hope to win anything when you are one-sided in every level? Because you know that your superstar has also flaws. Every NBA star player has flaws. Giannis has flaws. Sure. LeBron had flaws. Everyone had flaws. You construct a team that the other role players or other star on the team can cover for these flaws. I mean, LeBron James was mentally not on the top against the Mavericks in 2011. He scored 8 points in one of his one final game.
I remember
8
it well.
Points from LeBron James is nothing. I mean, Giannis has a center who can rim protect, who can shoot outside, who is intelligent. Giannis has a two-way guard that helps him out, and Giannis has Chris Middleton to win a championship. Yep. Luka has how many all-stars to help him out?
It's because they don't value the mid-range guy like Chris Middleton, who is arguably a top 25 NBA player, but doesn't present as such. I mean, to answer your question, and you've heard me do it before, but you're giving me an opening to do it again. I don't think this team understands how to assess talent. And it starts first and foremost with Luka Doncic. Because Luka Doncic came in 2019 as one of the best 5 players in the league, and the Mavericks were not ready for that. And I say that because the 2019 offseason, they screwed the pooch because they were saving all of their ammunition for a nonsense run at Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's everything boils down to that 2019 offseason and really the trade of Harrison Barnes and that whole team, Luka's rookie year, where they sent everyone away for nothing. What they sent those players away for, they never ended up using the assets gained. It's very it's really pretty. I hate relitigating it, but that's kind of the whole thing where now they're stuck with this team that has such clear limitations, and we're really hoping for a miracle and a top 4 pick.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that miracle because as I saw year in and year out, NBA likes to give teams high draft picks that need a miracle, like when before the Anthony Davis trade, Lakers got a 4th pick. When LeBron James, before he went back to Cleveland, they got the 1st pick. So hopefully, because I think NBA needs Luka to be in the playoffs.
Yep.
And do
they wanted them to
magical stuff. So maybe they rig a little bit the draft for the Mavericks. I hope so because I want to see Luka succeed.
Well, we'll see. Well, thank you for joining us. Hope you come back during the offseason. I'm going to try to do these at not 11 o'clock my time, which is middle of the night for you. So
no problem.
Thank you so much for joining. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Thank you. All the best for you.
Appreciate it. And everybody, do me a favor and, go ahead and go ahead and subscribe. We've had a nice, it's been a week and we got 800 people in here. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. I'm just going to say that right now. My wife is going to have me put my kid to bed, but we're going to get as many people as we can. I'm going to go with names I've not seen in here before. So coming up next is Jordan. Jordan, what's up?
Hey, Kirk, what's going on, man?
Welcome to the show. What are you thinking tonight?
Well, I don't think I've ever watched an NBA lottery draft before. So
it's very upsetting. It's like it's a really deflating 5 minutes unless you're the team that gets the boost.
Fair enough. So this is probably going to be the first one I ever watch and hopefully ever watch. But I don't know, man, you have to understand that I'm also a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Sure.
So I'm used to this. This is where I'm comfortable, right? So I've learned that just like I watch sports now like it's a TV series. Like it's already written. We just got to watch and wait and see what happens.
Right.
And so when disappointment happens, yeah, it sucks. You want the team to win. You want them to be in the playoffs again, to make a crazy run, chemistry, all that stuff. But it just wasn't there. It just they need time, man. Like, yeah, we want now. Everything's now. And it took Tom Landry, over a decade to get his, to get something going. And a lot of things like this take time, and we live in a time where time is now. And it just let these guys go to the off season, let Luka mature. He's still so young. I want to smack him in the back of the head almost every single game. Like, shut up, dude, shut up. But that's him. That's all on him. He's got to mature. He's got to learn what's important in the game rather than, ticky-tack fouls that aren't being called, or even big fouls. Man, people get fouled in the NBA every single game, almost every play. You just got to play, man. It's a game. Just play.
Well, the complaints are one thing. It's the stream. It can't become your defining characteristic on defense. It can't affect the team. And that was where it went too much.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. He's just got to play. He can't worry about the refs and stuff like that. I mean, you just see him on every single play, blow to get back. And I'm just like, like if we could have Luka off the ball, like rookie Luka, with how he plays now, then this team could be just unstoppable with still just him. But he just stands in the corner, runs and gets the ball, does stuff. He's still insanely good at that, but it's more than that. It's getting the team together, getting the team involved, running around screens and stuff like that, making things happen.
Well, if they get a lot of better players,
I swear to God, one more thing, Kirk, before I go. I swear to God, if Dwight Powell starts at center this next season, I'm going to quit life.
You're a starting center for the 2023-2024 Dallas Mavericks, Dwight Powell. Everybody get excited. He comes with the building. He's getting his own statue. He's going to buy the team from Mark Cuban one day. I hope everyone understands this. I hear what you're saying, though, Jordan. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yep, we'll talk soon. Okay, I got time for one more, and it's going to be my guy, Ryan. I see Micah and Brandon in the chat. I apologize for not being able to get to you, but my wife is threatening me. I'm scared. Ryan, give me your take, and we'll head out.
Kirk, yeah, thanks, man. I'm gonna kind of rapid fire, so I know you're trying to go. So first is, I've said before, Draymond is the ideal Luka teammate to kind of.
He will definitely tell Luka to shut up. That is a pretty yeah.
Yeah, and I think with that, I think Kyrie, what kind of role could he play with Luka? I think it's the interesting of the calmness and the take him to yoga, get him into some mental stuff. I would love to see, chilled out Luka, Kyrie flow, but without all the craziness. So that's a risk, but so that's that's one. And then two was thinking about what's the long-term upside case with Kyrie? Why would you give him a bigger, longer deal? And I think you're betting that he's Chris Paul, that he's going to have some longevity. Sure, there's going to be some injuries along the way, but he can provide that veteran stability and the occasional highlight reel game to take the team to the next level. So, upside case, I can buy that. I could take it.
We're gonna have a fun one with Kyrie because it's a game of chicken because he needs the Mavericks need him. Now, what's an agreement you can all settle on?
And if he can be better than Chris Paul, that's even better for the Mavs. Which brings me to my kind of final take is the Mavs are kind of positioned to speed run this valley they're in because they've got the two stars in Kyrie and Luka that kind of mirror Chris Paul and James Harden. They can see the path of what worked and didn't work in Houston and build a team to, better meet the modern NBA. And I think where Houston did really well was flexibility with lineups and rosters and, PJ Tucker at the five they needed to, things like that. But they also had some, glaring weaknesses around shooting variance and reliance on the three and kind of, what do you do in those situations when that gets taken away from you? And if Nico and Mark are smart, which, jury's still out, but if they can take those lessons, speed run a roster revamp, and it's not an additional third star, it's the right role player mix to take what worked well in Houston, but also what didn't work well and kind of, build around that. And, that's where the pick becomes interesting, because that could be one of those role players, or you just flip that pick for those role players. But like
Right.
that vision is what's required. And I think that's what we have not seen to date from the Mavs is, what is the vision? What are you trying to accomplish? And what, how's the roster going towards that vision?
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, totally. That's all. Speed run those takes, but some stuff to chew on this summer.
Very good takes. We'll talk soon. Okay, man.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so very apologetic for the few guests that I got waiting, but I have to go. As far as scheduling, don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. In my head right now, I want to do one of these shows on Wednesday night where we get people up here. I'll probably have it scheduled in the app. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, you can join the YouTube channel and subscribe and get the bell notification whenever we go live. I'm probably thinking around this time, maybe a little bit later on Wednesday night. We'll see what we'll start kind of firing off takes. We got roughly 5 weeks until the lottery, which will be a big one. And then between that, I'm just going to behave, just in terms of how you guys know, I'm going to behave like we're keeping the pick. The Mavericks have an 80% chance at keeping the pick. So until that goes away, we're just going to act like we're having it, and then we'll address it. Josh Bowe and I will probably be regularly doing shows just talking about stuff, because there's going to be news that comes out, and Josh and I can't help ourselves. Those will also be live shows, but less participatory on y'all's end. Really have enjoyed doing this for a couple of weeks. I hope people come back. I'll probably try to start scheduling guests and thinking out, about what's going on. Let's end with our tankathon run. That is pretty important. We've been doing that, and I think we need to keep it up. All right, so let's go to tankathon. For those of you who are listening, if you're just listening for the first time, we're over here at tankathon.com, and we're going to click to sim the lottery. The Mavericks are now firmly locked at 10th place. Thank goodness. Like I said, 80% chance to keep the pick, but we're going to do this once, and then I'm going to head out. With tonight's run of the NBA 2023 Draft Lottery Simulator, the Mavericks stay at 10th. The Indiana Pacers actually jumped all the way up to from 7th to 1st. So that's interesting. All right, guys. Excellent show. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we will talk with you guys maybe Wednesday. But check your podcast feeds and that sort of thing. Thanks for a great season, and go Mavs.